This is Blood and Firewater, a true crime comedy discussion type podcast. We shoot tequila and chase it with a case of murder. Just as a disclaimer, this podcast contains mature content not suitable for all ages, so listener discretion is advised.
Welcome or welcome back, whichever one fits your profile. This is episode 6. Another Christmas case, Christmas Eve case. The family turned up missing on December 19th, but they were found in the woods. I'll get to it, okay? Let me cook this thing real quick.
Yeah, no, because he literally kept this episode from me, so I have no idea what's going on.
First off, I would like to ask everybody, if you haven't already, to follow us on Instagram at Blood and Firewater, Twitter at BFW Pod Squad, and Facebook at Blood and Firewater Pod, I think it is. It might be podcast. Try both.
You made a Facebook?
I did.
Aww.
It's
you
so
told everybody
cute.
in the beginning. Yeah, it is cute.
It's so
you
cute.
You don't like Facebook, but look at them.
We also have a Patreon page. We'll post it in the show notes. Our first episode is going to be, we're going to play a game called Icebreakers, and we'll find out a little bit more about each other. But, go to the Patreon page to check that out. Now that that's clear, let's go ahead and go into...
What is there that you don't know about me?
What? I mean, other people. I know you pretty good.
Yeah. I was going to say, hold
the
up,
game,
bro.
the game is like where you ask people, questions. Like here for example,
21.
For example, I know that you hate being put on the spot, right? So I want to ask you, why is that, and when did you start your first period? Anyway, tonight we're drinking wild turkey spiced,
and it's good.
I guess it's spiced with like what? Peppers?
Cinnamon?
Oh, it's cinnamon. Okay, so it's
Spiced.
festive.
Yes. That's the first thing I thought of.
All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and shoot this up. Oh, that's pretty good. It's almost got like a pumpkin spice to it. Maybe like
I got it too fake. It sucks so bad.
Yeah, it probably went straight in that hole.
It did. I had to tilt my head. Damn it. No, but yeah, it tastes like a...
It's got like a pumpkin spice. It's got a wintry feel after you open your mouth.
Yeah.
I feel like it's cold, but it's hot at the same time.
If fall had a taste, it'd be that. That's what fall would taste.
If fall got you put in jail, this is what it would taste like.
Yeah. This is why.
86 proof.
Did you taste that with wine?
Yeah, I did. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. This is something
we should use it for Thanksgiving. We should.
Yeah, definitely going on the Thanksgiving table. Right next to the turkey. We got turkey and wild turkey.
What's up?
Gobble, gobble. So today's case takes place on December 19th, 1985 in Chehalis, Washington, a small and very close logging community south of Seattle. Police receive a call that Edward, 81, and Wilhemina Maurin, 83, are reported missing. They were not in attendance of a family Christmas party that they had planned earlier, and the family was worried. Okay, so, if grandma don't show up when Wheel of Fortune comes on, so there's a problem. There's a big problem.
What was that show grandpa watched?
Shit. You talking about,
the fucking Bill?
Bill?
Or no, the guy with the gray hair and white
Talking about Matlock? Yeah, Andy Griffith. Andy Griffith was Matlock.
Wheel of fucking Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune. How do you get those two? Oh, I guess
no, it was The Price is Right.
The Price
What was
is
that
Right.
guy named?
Bill Barker.
That guy.
Shout out to Bill Barker.
Shout out to Bill. My grandpa watched that shit faithfully.
Upon searching the house, police found no sign of forced entry But something wasn't right about the condition of the house. The couple kept their bank statements in shoeboxes around the house, and they had been thrown just, throughout the house. I wrote that very wrong. Mm-hmm. They also found Wilhelmina's purse. I'm going to call her Minnie. They went by Minnie and Ed, but I wrote out their whole names because I was like, I have to pay respect to the family. But I'm going to abbreviate it because Wilhelmina,
so what's,
I'm going to get tired of saying that.
Mina?
Minnie? Minnie.
What are we going for short?
Wilhelmina is Minnie. Edward is Ed.
Okay.
All right. So Minnie's purse was beside her chair where she always sat. Like, how old people have that chair.
Right now. Do you see what's happening? My purse is right here. I'm getting old.
Cool.
Yeah, so I know.
The Maurin's car was also missing, so it appeared that the couple had vanished into thin air. Or, yeah, the car and them vanished into thin air. One theory was that maybe they had been kidnapped and were being held for ransom. The Maurin family had a Christmas tree farm and sold Christmas trees that brought a lot of work into their community. They were well off and definitely not hurting for money for sure. They had multiple bank accounts and only shared their financial situation with members of the family. Their son Dennis Hadler was the owner of Dennis Hadler Logging and a very prominent logging company of the Northwest at the time. Chief Detective Bruce Kimsey says in the documentary, quote, "If you worked in the woods at the time, you probably worked for Dennis Hadler." The couple had a reputation in the community as being everybody's grandparents. You know how all your friends call your grandma for some reason. Like that's the same situation. Yeah, everybody's got that one.
Everybody
nickname.
called Gigi, even though that's not their great grandma.
Right.
So yeah.
Like I gave Marcus the nickname for Gigi because I was like, that's not your grandma. That's your great grandma. Yeah. So you need to call her something different. And then we just sat there and came up with the shit and it stuck. And then her kids are calling her Gigi.
Yeah, no, I never knew. You're right. Our grandmother's kids call her Gigi. Because of Rashad.
Check me out. Changing the whole family dynamic and in a conversation.
There is what?
Okay, so I got lost on the Gigi story. On the icy morning of December 20th in the parking lot of the Yardbird shopping mall, the car belonging to the Maurins is reported to detectives. Heard. To avoid the risk of compromising evidence, detectives unthaw one of the windows with his breath to see inside. Inside of the car was a bloodbath. An image of horror that one would never be able to forget. There was damage to the dashboard from shotgun pellets, blood splattered throughout the car, and Mr. Maurin's hat in the passenger seat floorboard. He always wore this hat, and his keys were still in the ignition. But what they didn't find was Ed or Minnie in the car. Detectives apprehensively popped the trunk, and guess what they found?
Minnie and Ed.
Nope, they found a spare tire in a gas can.
Oh.
So no Ed or Minnie.
Why'd you do that?
A search and rescue team was formed in the family house. They sectioned off areas of the map where hundreds of people would go and look and kind of comb the area. You know what I'm saying? So some were volunteers, some were uniformed police officers, but overall, it's basically the entire town. I don't know much about Washington as a state outside of the fact that our mother is from Spokane. But what do I know? What I do know is there are miles and miles of heavily forested area. And at the time, Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, was very active. I mean, I briefly kind of scanned over his case, and my man was just like dumping bodies out on the side of the road. Just like, here you go. This is where you live now, on the side of the road.
So I gotta look him up because I heard about him.
I'm trying to do the Netflix thing and save like some of the big ones. Him, fucking BTK.
Yeah.
Say
pull out the big guns later.
Yeah, I don't want to really just know because, like, I know of the people. I know, the time in which they operated and what they did. But, like, as far as doing, like, research, like, digging, like, I'm not doing that yet. I'm trying to save those for a later date when I got time to do, like, a 2 or 3-parter, because somebody like him, you're not just going to knock it out in 30 minutes or 45 minutes.
Right.
So
he's a big deal.
Yeah, he's a big deal. A man walking down a logging road in Adna, Washington, discovers the bodies of Ed and Minnie. Upon discovery, he thought they were dummies or mannequins. As any one of the true crime family should know, it's never a mannequin. Never. Have you ever seen a mannequin on the side of the road?
No,
it was probably a dead body.
Honestly, I really pay attention to shit that's on the side of the road, especially if it looks like it's wrapped up. Because
I look at trash bags all the time.
Yeah,
I'm like,
wonder.
I wonder.
Man, I'm looking for money that done fell out of somebody's pocket when I sweep up my section at work. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Oh, well, it also makes sense for bags of body pieces to be dumped on the side of the road because it has happened.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
And money's dropped all the time. So, you see?
Minnie had been shot in the neck and the left shoulder. Ed had been shot dead center in the back. Drag marks indicated that the bodies had been dumped at the location and they weren't shot at the scene. Their bodies were discovered on Christmas Eve, 1985.
So they were shot where they died and then dropped?
Yeah, they were shot, drug out of the car.
Yeah, okay.
Because the blood's in the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were taken out of the car and then left on a logging road. You know what a logging road is? Like, you can see them. If you go up in the mountains and you're looking dead at this big forested mountain, right? And then you just see this road cut out of it. Yeah. That's a logging road.
Okay. Damn, on Christmas Eve?
Yeah, on Christmas Eve. What? They found it. So, hey, you got one suspect. You got the guy that found the body. It's all that the guy that found the bodies is always a suspect.
Well, I mean, shit, if I murdered someone, I'd be like, hey, come look at this, somebody. I didn't do it, but look.
In the beginning of the investigation, they didn't have a murder weapon, but they knew it was a shotgun. Like, they retrieved the pellets from the dashboard.
Isn't like a bunch of pellets?
Oh, yeah. A bunch.
When you shoot a shotgun?
Yeah, like...
So aren't those, lodged into their body?
Yeah, probably.
So did
but a lot of them...
shell or pellets?
It depends. It depends on the shell, to be honest with you. There's different types of shotgun shells, and some do, more damage than others.
Right.
I'm not a gun aficionado, but I do know that there are different type of...
We've shot a shotgun, so...
Yeah.
And I didn't see a bunch of pellet spray, so I get what you're saying. Not all shotguns are...
Well, if they go through the body, they're going to hit... let's say somebody's sitting in the front seat. Let's say somebody's sitting in the front seat.
Oh,
and then they're shot from behind. Whew,
what a way.
Spray. In the beginning of the investigation... okay, I read that part. So, they didn't have any fingerprints of any suspects at the crime scene. And now there are 2 crime scenes. There's the Yardbirds parking lot, and then you got the woods now. They didn't have any DNA evidence that would help because DNA didn't come out until 1987. We're in 1985 right now.
Okay.
Evidence found on the body of Mr. Maurin was a bloody bank withdrawal receipt from the bank that he regularly used. They also found cigarette butts inside the ashtrays of the car. So
whoever's car it was.
The Maurins didn't smoke cigarettes.
Right.
So I don't know if you've ever been in an old school car. Like when I was researching this, there was 6 ashtrays in a car. There was one in every single door, and then there was one in the middle console, and then there was one right underneath the radio. I was like, why are there all these ashtrays I remember
the
thinking
one,
that shit
like,
when I was
in
a
the
kid.
back seat of the back of the armrest. The one
Yeah,
down there.
like you would
the
fold
one
the
in oh, yeah,
armrest
yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and it's like a fucking
Yeah,
ashtray. I'm like,
yeah,
bro.
you fold that little flap on the side of the doors, and then there was one down there before they start putting like vents down there. I know what you're talking about. Those used to just
I was
be
like, dude,
ashtrays.
why are there so many ashtrays? And
Everybody smoked back
I
then.
mean, like, I imagine, like, you know, kids' car seats had ashtrays in them, probably. You know, you never know. Grandma might be sitting next to little Tommy.
Yo, man, those cars were so big. Like, you probably needed that many ashtrays. Like, hey, man, I don't want to burn you, but I need that ashtray.
So detectives ran fingerprints at the home of the Murins, and they came up with several from the couple along with other members of the family. Everyone that worked on the Christmas tree farm was also suspects. Remember, they got a Christmas tree farm. They hire people to help the community in the tree farm.
Yeah.
Christmas time. It's December. They're banking right now. Okay? In these type of murders, where you have access to the house and awareness of the family finances, it's more often than not a family member that perpetrated the crime. My belief is that it's unreasonable to assume guilt on a family member immediately after a vicious murder because nerves are high and it makes the family feel like it's their fault that their family went missing, or, you know, whoever in the family went missing.
How could you feel like it's your fault? Like,
well, I mean, like, I would feel like
somebody's broken their house and you could have stopped.
If your daughters got kidnapped, would you not feel like it was your fault? Like, you could have did something different that day that would have got them not in that situation. So, like, if the police start questioning...
But these are grown-ass folks we're talking about.
Yeah, they're grown-ass folks, but, like, we're talking about 80-year-old folks. Like, after a certain age, you start to go backwards. Like, now you're a baby all over again.
So, people that were somewhat caretaking for them.
Right.
They feel bad. Got it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if like, let's say our parent, like, if Sonya gets to the age where she's, like, senile or she has dementia and she just doesn't remember shit, or she may not even remember who we are. You know what I'm saying?
Damn if I let her forget who I am.
It shit just happens. Fawn's grandma has dementia.
Right.
She, like, I feel like every time I talk to Meemaw, this is the first time I've ever met this woman. Every single time. It's like a scary
Grandpa
type of meeting this old white woman.
What's the one? Alzheimer's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she has dementia and Alzheimer's. Okay. She has onset Alzheimer's and
Grandpa
dementia.
Had it because he didn't know who I was before he passed away.
Who, Granddaddy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Granddaddy remember who I was.
Yeah, I know.
And Sonya, but like he didn't remember who you were at all.
I know.
That's crazy.
That's the only time I ever like really witnessed Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's.
Old timers. All good things.
So, in a nutshell, sometimes it is the family, though. So, you got to keep that in mind, too. Chris Watts.
Yes.
I mean, no one can tell you how to react when somebody dies, but when you react like that, my man, literally.
Live. Bro, I told you.
He got caught in 2 days.
Did you see that ceiling fan?
You see that fucking ceiling fan, bro?
That shit was going so
Please,
fast.
If you haven't seen the body cam footage of Chris Watts, we will cover Chris Watts. Not right now, but like the ceiling fan.
Watch that fan.
In that room. They don't make ceiling fans that go that fast.
Bro, I don't know if he was trying to get the scent.
So you saw that shit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the sheets not on the bed.
Mm-mm.
The ceiling fan going
I don't know how the police didn't notice that in the first place.
Yeah, like the ceiling fan in the bed. Like that was the first, like, hey, what's going on here? Homeboy. But anyway, yes, we will cover that, and I cannot wait.
Okay, so back to the case.
Right.
Going off the bank receipt that the investigators found in Mr. Murin's pocket, detectives talked to the teller who was working at the Sterling Savings and Loans Bank and gave Mr. Murin the withdrawal slip that morning. She reported that Mr. Murin called the bank first and asked if they had any money. Assumably, the bank didn't keep large amounts of cash at any given time, which is normal for a small town. I remember when I had to call. Like, I went to Bank of America one time and tried to withdraw $2,000 in cash, like in one day.
You gotta go inside.
Yeah, and then they told me I had to come inside, and then I had to wait for the money to be ready. It only happened once, and it was like early 2000s. But like, I had to go inside the bank and wait for the money to be ready. Like, that was one of those moments where I was like, I got a lot of money. I gotta wait for it to get ready. $2,000 is not that much. Not anymore.
No, I just spent it just now in my head.
The teller asked how much Mr. Maurin needed, and he replied that he would need $8,500. Now, $8,500 in '85 is a lot of money, and it's a lot of money in today's money. But to put the inflation calculator on top of it, $8,500 in 1985 would almost be $21,000 in today's money. So, in your mind, do you see yourself kidnapping somebody for $20,000? Could you do it?
Yes.
Yes. You would do it. So you would kidnap if somebody was like, "Hey, I got $20,000
or murder." Yes.
If it involved child?
If it didn't involve a child.
Okay, so it's
murder.
A straight up kidnapping.
Like,
I get the money.
We're here
boom,
to scare
boom, boom.
you. If you don't do whatever the reason why I'm kidnapping you, we're gonna fuck you up. If I needed to be that person that didn't get seen because I had on a mask.
Usually kidnapper, like, you don't hear kidnapper. There's always, like, if it's a strict cash drop type thing, it's kidnappers.
You need the driver, you need a place, a hideaway, you need food.
Well, yeah, you got all kinds of eyes on the situation. Yeah. I'm not saying that there isn't one type of person.
Call me what you want. $20,000, I need it right now. So, yes.
That's going to kidnap anybody, but, like.
Rashad's going to be the pansy that didn't get $20,000. Holla at your girl.
Okay, so Brandy, look out for Brandy. She likes to kidnap people for about $20,000.
It don't even cost much.
The teller said that Mr. Maurin had pulled up and the money wasn't ready yet. So instead of waiting inside of the bank, he went back out to the car. When the money was ready, the teller went out to tell him, but he got out the car before she could get too close. She was unsure if she saw someone else in the car. So on December 28th, 4 days after the discovery of the bodies, detectives began to focus on the grandson of the Maurins, Michael Hadler. He smoked. He might have known how much money they had in the bank. He wasn't a stranger to law enforcement. He had a violent temper and a drinking habit. And he would also get himself involved in situations that he shouldn't. Another suspect was also Rodney Hadler, another grandson.
Wait, what did he smoke when you say he smoked?
He smoked cigarettes.
So that's the reason why to kill somebody?
Well, they found cigarettes in the car.
Oh, okay. Mind you guys, I don't know anything. Like, I'm
small
listening
town
to Rashad. I feel I'm in the same place as you guys. I have no idea what's going on. So I had to, sorry.
Ed, Minnie, shotgun blast, car left in the parking lot.
Looking at the
grandsons. You caught up now? Here we go.
Caught it up.
New Year's Eve, 2 witnesses come forward and say that they saw a man with a covered up rifle running from the Yardbirds shopping mall the day of the murders. They are the first people to have an eyewitness account of someone leaving the area of the car. They described the man having dark brown hair, a small beard, and wearing a camouflage jacket. Pictures were taken of anyone that fit the description. Family members, workers on the Christmas tree farm, but no one could say for 100% that they saw anyone from the pictures running across the parking lot. The pictures were very small, grainy, black and white, and lacked very much detail. The case soon turns cold, but in April of 1990, the police received a phone call from someone who had pertinent information about the case. A man named Scott Coulter, whom was married into the Maurin family at one time, confessed to his brother that he had committed the double murder. Coulter had been arrested previously for burglary, drugs, and violent crimes in the past, and people reported seeing him in the area at the time of the crime. So this is a lead. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're getting somewhere. 1985 to 1990. Scott. It's okay. It's a cold case. Cold cases get solved, right?
We might solve it.
He might solve it.
No, Scott did this shit. Where's Scott?
The police investigate the allegations, and on November 14th, 1990, 3 days ago, or what, 4 days ago, 20 years ago.
Was Antonio was born. Yeah.
Ayo, brother was born.
Our brother.
Detectives come up with a plan to get him to admit to the murders. They pretended to be mobsters, and they were looking for new initiates. They met with Coulter at the Tacoma Narrows International Airport and got him in the car and told him to confess to something that he had done that would deem him worthy of mob status. They asked him about a job that had been done in the Chehalis area and if he knew who did it. Coulter confessed that he did it.
Oh, you done fucked up, Scott.
Detectives asked Coulter for specific details that only the killer would know, and Coulter responded that he got him in a car, he drove him down to the Yardbirds, and just, he did this number, finger gun, bang, bang. They asked what kind of gun he used, and he said he used a 22, and we know a 22 is, it's like a little, it's about as big as this jewel.
Yeah, prostitutes.
Yes,
your sister's gun.
You're not going viciously shoot up a car with a 22.
Yeah, no, if I was somebody that was questioning that man to be in my mom.
I've gotten shot with a 22. Like, ow.
Pew, pew.
Fuck. That hurt.
Well.
They were not murdered with a 22, obviously.
Right.
They were murdered with a shotgun.
It's still pussy of him to say.
Yeah, a 22, bro.
Oh, well, you can't be in this.
Are you a fucking assassin? Like,
was that your sister's gun? Get him out of here.
Is it a prostitute's weapon?
You talking to the mob here.
They weren't shot in the shopping center parking lot. They were shot in the forest. The car was dropped off at the shopping center. You get what I'm saying? Like, the car was driven out into the woods.
It sounds good.
These are things only the killer would know. The police figured that shit out first day.
Right.
So detectives are led to believe that this isn't the guy. He wanted to be the guy.
Yeah, man, that's me.
He was like, "Fuck it, I'm trying to get into the hey, I'm trying to get in the mob here.
Hey, where's my
spaghetti?
Cannolis? Spaghetti."
The case goes back cold. No more witnesses come forward, and no more leads are followed. May 2004, 19 years after the murders, lead detective Bruce Kimsley. So I think in the documentary it says he was like 7 or 8 or some shit like that when the case happened, and he was like, "Oh no!" So like he decides that he's going to become a detective, and he's going to open the case back up in May of 2004. So he's determined to close this cold case. There's tons and tons of evidence that he has to go through, like 9,000 pages of documents. And he goes through it thoroughly. He finds that more than 10 people saw the Maurins' car the morning of the crime driving along Highway 12. Everyone said that they saw Mr. Maurin driving the car and Mrs. Maurin in the passenger, along with one person in the back seat, at least one person. Detective Kimsey takes the original photos from the lineup, which were in color, like the negatives.
Yeah.
And he has them enlarged and photoshopped for clarity. He re-interviews all of the witnesses, and he just keeps digging to find the murderer. November 12, 2005, a man named Jake Shriver comes to Michael Hadler, the grandson, one day, and they're old high school friends. So they're sitting there and they're shooting the shit one day, and then Jake breaks down and he has to ask Michael for forgiveness. Michael's like, "Wow, what's up, bro?" And he's like, "I know who was in the back seat of the Maurins' car the morning of the murders." Shriver says that 2 people were in the back seat in the morning of the murders: brothers Rick and Greg Reif, known criminals of the Mossy Rock area. They worked on the Christmas tree farm of the Maurins.
Well, okay, wait. So they didn't check any of the employees?
What?
I'm
this
sure.
Is a small town. Like, have you ever been to a small town? Like, Greenville is not a small town.
Where did Antonio get married? Greensboro? That was a small town.
He got married in Blythewood. That's Columbia.
You know where all that red dirt was with his wedding?
Red clay. That's how you know you're in South Carolina.
It was Greensboro or Winsboro or something like that.
Winsboro. No, we went to Columbia. He got married in Columbia. I was there. I was the best man. I know I was there.
No, I guess we're not.
I might have been drunk, but I was there.
Although we might sound a little country, we were actually raised in New Jersey for a little bit. Then we came down here. We never been in a country part or a small town.
Hey, y'all.
No, hey, y'all. Welcome to
It's
Texas
fall, y'all.
But no, yeah. You want to ask me that again, brother? No, I haven't been in a small town.
Okay, so Fawn's from a small town. She's from Maggie Valley, North Carolina. When I tell you small town, I mean there's...
They have that thing when you coming into the state, like
what?
Population.
Yeah, they have a population sign in Maggie Valley. It's like $2,000. Population. Like we have 2,000 people.
There's like
right
2,000
here.
people that work at Texas Roadhouse.
It's not 2,000 people.
I know, but it feels like it.
Yeah, Maggie Valley is a very small town. There's one grocery store. There's two gas stations.
So what I'm asking is, was those brothers not checked out? Like, if
so
they
you're
had
asking if there were background checks?
Yeah, like
no, there was no background checks done. I'm sorry.
None of the employee people.
No, they were people. Okay, so
trusted?
like again, I don't know anything about Washington, but I'd imagine that a small town like that has a major highway probably going through it. So with that being said, a lot of people kind of drift, like drifters, transients, if you will travel through the town looking for work. You know what I'm saying? So they hired these hobos to work at their Christmas tree farm.
Okay. So Rick and Greg. They weren't just like somebody that knew them. They were just kind of like, oh, okay, well, we're going to do this. Now, this is speculation at this point because somebody decided to hold out on this information for, it's 2004 now. This happened in 85. So now this guy is just coming forward and he's like, you know? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I meant to tell you this a while back, but I know who killed your grandparents. Like, bitch.
I'm so mad you didn't let me do any kind of research on this. Because now I'm just like so curious. And
Christmas Eve, you find your grandparents on the side of the road somewhere. And the guy that knows who did it didn't tell you for, 13 years? 14 years?
I was like, man, fuck you. Fuck you. Who is it?
Jake?
Fuck you, Jake. That's a weird way. I hate the way your name's spelled, Jake.
What is Jake short for?
Like jockey.
Jockey. Mind you, okay, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He was 17 at the time, and the Wright brothers told him a couple days after the murders, that if he says anything or he reports it to the police, that they'll do the same thing to him. They'll kill his mother. They'll kill his brothers. They'll kill his father, and then they'll kill him. He's 17 when he got caught up with this shit.
Well, no, if anybody gonna threaten my mama and that many people in my life after I know they killed somebody, I ain't gonna say nothing either. So.
I don't know what I would do. Like, I've known people who, haven't done such great things, but as far as to say, like, if I saw them shoot somebody and then, like, they're going to say, look, hey,
you're a witness.
You're a witness. No, I'm not a fucking witness.
I didn't see shit.
I didn't see nothing. So, back to the Rife brothers. They were suspects from the beginning, but due to fear of retaliation from the brothers, no one wanted to come forward. Investigators didn't have any evidence or probable cause to arrest the Rife brothers in general. A statement is given from Jake to detectives that this is the first admission statements of guilt that they've heard since the beginning of the case. Investigators discover that the Rife brothers, shortly after committing the murder, moved to Alaska. Coincidentally, we got to go.
Hey, we'll be back.
Warrants are issued for the arrest of the Rife brothers, and flights are booked by the authorities to Alaska. They soon discover, shortly after booking their flight, that Greg Rife had died.
Damn.
Yeah.
Why did I know like something like that was about to say?
Cool. Like it's such a weird thing though. Like maybe somebody, maybe they had like a connect. You know what I mean? Like somebody was like, "Hey, that case is starting to heat back. They're starting to ask about you, bro." And then one of the Rife brothers was like, "I can't handle this heat."
Vicky off yourself. I mean, so does that mean...
I mean, it like in all the research I did, it didn't say anything about how he died. Like I wanted to know. I was like, I didn't want to assume he committed suicide or like took his own life in some sort of fashion.
Shit, he had a good 13 years. I mean, you got away with it for that long, did you?
I mean, I don't want to think about it in the fact that they got away with it for so long because they had to live with that guilt. I'm so sorry, but like you don't just do that kind of shit and just be able to walk around like I feel great about this.
Ted Bundy did.
Ted Bundy didn't murder old people. I would feel a little bit different.
Kill
like if
kids.
you had a choice, if you had to kill an old person or a young person, who would you kill?
The old person.
Clock's ticking. You would kill an old person? The fuck is wrong with you?
They already lived their life. Why would I kill somebody young?
Because you probably, like, the bitch had, like, better eyebrows than you or something.
They got a whole life to... You keep covering that. My eyebrows, bro.
Because they on fleek right now.
All right.
There they are.
You need to stop.
So, I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't kill an old person. I'd kill a young person because I could find a flaw in their personality that I didn't like.
That's somebody's grandma. Oh, I forgot to bring them rubber bands.
I'm just saying. Like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
So did Greg get, like... did Rick get all Greg's charges? Like, did he get double? Well, they both would have got charged with 2 capital charges, right?
I'm glad you asked.
Oh.
Knowing that Rick Rife was still alive, police head to King Salmon. Salmon or Salmon? You want to talk about it? Salmon?
This is
Salmon?
how be at work. We have a 5-ounce salmon and an 8-ounce salmon. I say salmon.
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 Looking at the word, it's salmon.
That's
but like
salmon though.
Okay, salmon. King Salmon, Alaska, where Rick lived.
It looks like salmon.
That's how you spell the word.
Salmon or salmon? Salmon.
Salmon.
Ugh.
Salmon.
Salmon. Let's go with it.
July 8th, 2012, 27 years after the murders of Edward and Wilhelmina Maurin, officers walked down the driveway of Rick Rife. I was about to say Rick Ross. I almost fucked that up.
Oh, fuck you.
Alaska State Police knock on the door and it just kind of opens up. They find Rick. Rick stands up and he's hooked up to an oxygen machine.
Oh no. Damn, Rick.
He has served his warrants for 2 counts of murder, robbery, kidnapping, and he's put under arrest by state police. Rick replies, "Well, looks like I'm going to need my medication." Rick was 53 at the time. Because of Rick's failing health, the death penalty was not pursued.
Oh.
Rick did not speak at his sentencing, and his lawyer said that he felt no remorse and wouldn't apologize for something that he did not do.
But you did it, Rick.
On November 18th, 2013, after 6 weeks of trial, after a day and a half of deliberations, a jury of 8 men and 4 women found Rick Rife guilty and was sentenced to 103 years in prison for 7 felony charges, including kidnapping, robbery, and 2 counts of first-degree murder. Still, no one knows who fired the shots that killed Mr. and Mrs. Maurin.
So, they didn't give him life, but they did give him 103 years.
I don't know, what type of person would you be if you lived those 103? Like, you was 168 when you got out. He's like, bro, I'm 168 years old. I finally made it out.
Bro, you probably literally physically could not walk.
I don't know why they sentence people to these.
Yes, I don't either. I don't get it. You're not going to get the death penalty, but we are going to sentence you to 103 years. What?
I just feel like if we're going to just sentence people to these ridiculous amounts of time to serve, make them do ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's go ahead and fucking, like, have him
People fucking mad at God. People.
But no, wait,
prison.
no, I take that back because they do make prison, like, people in prison make stuff, like, believe it or not, like.
Yeah, no, they definitely. I mean, you seen the stuff hanging on the wall from.
But at the same time, the people that live in
crafty.
Washington are paying taxes, so this guy can sleep.
That's what I was about to say.
Eat shit.
There's
like
those people out there that hate people that are in prison for these really heinous crimes, yet that's where they belong, but they still complain about having to pay taxes to make them stay alive, basically. Like, oh, I pay taxes, so, this guy that, these people, for instance, 103 years, that means 100, for 50 more years of my life, I gotta be making sure that this motherfucker is fed, warm, and alive after he killed 2 old people, whatever your vendetta is against killing old people.
So who do you think shot him? Do you think it was like a double barrel situation where one, like, the Boondock Saints the shit?
No, I think Rick did it. Because Rick was coincidentally...
Rick, the living brother.
Oh, okay. Greg, the dead brother, did it. And Rick didn't.
Right.
And he was so loyal to his brother that's why he didn't say shit at the trial.
Okay.
My theory. He didn't say nothing because he did not actually do it, but the person that did it is dead, so he got to stay loyal to his brother.
My theory is let's say, this, I'm going to run the whole scenario. On the morning of the 19th, super early in the morning, one brother was like, hey, I'm about to do this. And the other brother was like, I'll come with you, but I don't want no parts of it. You know what I mean? So, like,
brother that's still alive, right?
Right. Maybe. See? I'm not. I'm a slow cook this and see where it goes, because I'm trying to come up with the theory in my head as we speak. So one brother was like, I'm about to do this. Probably the older brother. I'm not. Fuck. I should have looked to see which one was older or not. I didn't. But okay. So one brother was like I'm doing this shit. What?
I feel like Greg may have been older because he called the shot. Well, because we think that he initiated the shit.
So one brother was like, I'm doing this. The other brother was like, well, I got to come with you because you're my rod. So one brother's like, fucking, like, he's doing the shit. They don't find the money. One brother's like, let's get out of here. The other brother's like, no, we're going to wait till the morning, take them to the bank, because they had to wait for the bank to open. Right?
They needed the money.
They're not going to rob the bank.
Go in here and get the money.
Yeah, so they had to wait for the bank to open. It's super early still. The money wasn't ready, assumably because the bank hadn't just like opened. Like when the bank first opens, I'd imagine there's one register open, and they didn't have $8,500 in that fucking one register.
I'm gonna have to go to every desk to get this.
They show up, probably minutes later after they called the bank, and they were like, hey, the money's still not ready yet. So they made Grandpa get out the car to go and fetch the money. They tell him the money's not ready, so they tell him he probably naturally comes back because the wife is still in the car. Homeboy's worried about Wilhelmina. Minnie.
That's something.
So
that name.
He comes back, and then like when they see the teller come out the car, the robbers tell Ed to get back out the car and stop her before she gets too close to see him, or at least one of them, because remember, there's like witness accounts. There's only one person one person in the back seat. There's probably only one shotgun. There's probably not two shotguns.
I mean,
you know what I mean? So that means
one bullet's gonna kill anybody.
One shot, like either way, one of the couple had to see the other one die, which is tremendo shitty. So if I had to assume a shooter after the fact, after they got the money, after they got what they wanted, after the family was like, they can take this $8,500 loss, you know what I mean? They had a fucking Christmas farm the day before Christmas, they'll get that $8,500 back. That day, probably.
Did they have to kill him?
Did they have to kill him?
No. They could have robbed him and went on where the fuck they go? They dipset it. And went to
Alaska.
Alaska.
King Salmon. Salmon?
Salmon?
So, I don't know.
They could have just robbed them old folks and went to Alaska. Salmon. King Salmon.
So that was the case. That they found the killers. It took 27 years, but they got them. Obviously, because my man, when they busted in the door, he's like, "Well, gonna need my medication."
Y'all really gonna lock an old man up like this?
From what I remember, they were like, "Did you think you'd ever be caught?" And they were like, "Well, yeah."
What the fuck? The shit's evolving.
So that's episode 6. A Christmas Nightmare. I'd hate to
Yeah, the holidays would suck. Go ahead.
Christmas Eve, bro.
The holidays would
especially suck. If where you go is grandma's house.
Yeah.
Like
our grandma's birthday's on Valentine's, so that shit sucks.
We don't go to our only other grandma's house because she's a Jehovah's Witness. She don't celebrate holidays at all.
Yeah, she's a Jehovah's Witness and
hard body.
Evil.
She's not evil. She really likes what she likes. And it's evil. Not us.
Yeah. I think she told me she loved me like once. I'm 27.
And then she laughed right after that. I was
yeah, I'm sure.
She's like, "I love you."
She made me cry on my birthday this year. My 27th birthday. I was like, "What the fuck? They took the wrong grandma." No, that's fucked up. She's sweet. Kinda.
Again, I want to remind everybody to, if you haven't already, check out our Instagram page. I post memes. I post things about the case. I post whatever's just going on.
I post the videos and the
pictures. If you see anything you like on there, just go ahead and repost it. Go ahead and just
steal it, screenshot it.
Fuck it.
Just make sure you
get it out there. I'm tired of seeing the same shit posted over and over again. We're on Twitter also at BFW Pod Squad and Facebook at Blood and Firewater Pod or Podcast. Again, search for both. I'm not sure.
We drank wild turkey, Old
turkey.
Spice.
Turkey.
Rashad just took another shot. I don't know how he's doing it. I'm supposed to go out to eat, but wild turkey spice, definitely recommend that for Halloween. I am wearing a Stay Alert, Stay Alive hoodie right now.
Oh, let me just give the rundown on the tiers of the Patreon, just in case you're interested and you want to check it out. We have different tiers on our page.
You guys.
What?
This sweater's comfy.
Oh.
Nice and warm.
So,
tell them about the merch, brother.
So we have Blood and Firewater hoodies. We have sweaters, and we have T-shirts. Tank stickers. Tops will resume.
Oh, you're talking about clothing. We have decals and pins for hats and book bags.
And they all apply to a certain tier of the Patreon group. So if you are a certain tier, I think the first tier is $1, and that's like a blood money tier. Like, hey, we appreciate you.
Money.
Welcome to the family.
Hey.
There's
we cut.
There's a $3 tier where we send you a sticker. We might, sign the back of the sticker if you want to keep it. You want to just throw it in the trash. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
No, there's a sticker if you want it. Hey, that's great. If you want to just donate to the show, $5 is you're buying shots now. Hey. So we'll send you a sticker. We'll shout you out on the show, and we'll shout you out on social media.
If you want us to be a guest on your podcast, click the bio, reach out, DM Blood and Firewater, and Rashad would love to do that.
Oh yeah, I just came off a podcast, Out of the Blank. It was great. It was like an interview. It was right. Weird because I was like, oh God, this is weird.
I don't.
But
know
like
these
it was
people,
only like my anxiety. Like
yeah.
It was like ugh.
You don't know them, like so it's just like hey guys. But I mean, I guess that is what it may feel like to be interviewed. So.
And then we have
big ups, brother.
We have our $20 tier where you basically become a producer of the show. We'll shout you out at the end of every single episode. You get a t-shirt made by me personally. Like I'm sitting in front of my t-shirt press right now. I'll make it right now. And also a sticker and access to our A Shot Two Ways minisodes, which will be posted hopefully by this weekend. We plan on recording a minisode this weekend, and we will include a bonus episode inside of that episode.
Is that the one?
That's another one I haven't told you about.
Are we gonna drop it on Turkey Day?
I hope not. I'd hope to not be recording on Turkey Day because it's my birthday.
If we do, we'll be the only motherfuckers. So tune in, because everybody else will be stuffing their faces.
And that, I think that covers everything for as far as the end. So until next time, bye.
Stay alert, stay alive.